We're gonna start by unboxing this bad boy. Huge shout out to Westin for sending me these running boards. Gotta rotate this here. And that's just gonna lift right off there. So like I said, this is the Outlaw Drop running board from Westin. This one's kind of cool because it has kind of a dual function. Obviously has a step on there. This is a 4-inch step for your running board. It also gives you some rocker panel protection. This is designed to contour the vehicle specifically, so it should look pretty seamless once we get it installed on there. This is 1.5-inch mandrel-bent steel tube construction, so it's very strong, very solid. It has an electrostatic base coat for corrosion resistance and then a black powder finish. The step is this nice die stamped steel, which will give you a lot of grip, especially in wet, slick, or snowy conditions. They also include all of the hardware. So there's the instructions that it came with. Here's all our bolts and hardware. This should be just a straightforward bolt-on assembly, so we don't have to drill or do anything to the truck to get these installed, so should be pretty straightforward. These do have a 3-year warranty on them as well. So you should end up with 6 of these mounting brackets. It's nice on each one of the brackets. Let's see if we can see that. They're stamped. So that one says driver's side or driver rear mount. So it's got a DRM on there, driver rear mount. This one has a DFM, I know it's backwards, but driver forward mount. So we should have 2 rear driver mounts, 1 forward, and then 2 rear passenger mounts and 1 passenger forward. We're gonna start by assembling all of these. These are called the support brackets. We're gonna take one of these, and there's 6 of these, so 1 will go on each one of these mounting brackets. All right, so we're gonna start with our driver forward mount here. Looks like this support bracket rests right on top there. There's got a little lip to it. So that's gonna sit in there. And then you're gonna take one of your M8 flathead bolts. So we're gonna stick that M8 flathead bolt in through there. Then you're gonna take one of your washers, a lock washer, and then your nut. We're just gonna loosely assemble these right now. We'll come back through at the end and tighten everything down once we get it all put together. We just kind of want to loosely assemble that right now. So that's what's going to mount underneath the truck, and then we're going to mount the actual running board onto this part of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these assembled real quick. Pretty easy. Just throw that support bracket on there. Almost forgot to mention we're using a little bit of this anti-seize lubricant on all these stainless steel parts today. Now we got to take off the old running boards that are sitting on the truck currently. And I know I don't have a creeper, so if anybody's looking for a last-minute Christmas present, I'll take a creeper. I don't have to crawl around on the floor in here anymore. So let me show you real quick. Crawling underneath here, this is your rocker panel. This is the mounting bracket for the current running boards that I have on there. You can see that there's 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna take those off there right now. So you take a 13mm socket wrench. Go ahead and loosen that up. Once you get those 3 nuts off, then we're gonna go do the one in the rear. So once you get those bolts taken off there, then you can completely remove that. You'll notice that this only has the mounting brackets in the front and the rear, and we're gonna have 1 in the front and then 2 in the rear with this other running board. So we're gonna start with our passenger side mounts here. Again, these are all stamped, so you know which one is the forward or which ones are the 2 rears. So we're gonna go ahead and get these installed underneath the truck. The first step here is to take one of these clear plastic squares and stick one of these around each one of these bolts here so that sits right up next to the frame. You've got 1 for each of the bolts. Okay, we got those on. Now we've got our passenger forward mount. And again, these are all loose. We're gonna come back at the end and tighten these all back up. That's gonna sit on there just like that. We're gonna take a little bit of our anti-seize lubricant. Put a little bit of this on each of our bolts here. And then on each of these 3 bolts, we're gonna go washer, lock washer, M8 nut. And again, we're gonna come back at the end and tighten everything back down. We're just kind of loosely getting things on here right now. I'll give these a few turns just to keep everything in place. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get the other 2 brackets installed here real quick. All right, so I've got my 3 brackets installed. There's the front, there's the first rear, and the other rear is down there. So now we can go ahead and grab our running board and get that installed. You'll notice on these running boards that this one is marked with a P for passenger. And this one is marked with a D for driver. Our hardware for installing the running boards is gonna be an M10 serrated bolt and an M10 serrated nut. So we're gonna take our passenger running board. I don't have an extra person. This will definitely be easier with 2 people. Rest on here. Kind of like that. Let me see if I can get these bolts into place. Once you put it on those support brackets, it'll kind of just stay in place for a second. It looks like the mounting brackets that are attached to the truck go behind the mounting brackets for the running boards. I'll show you in just a second. Let me get this kind of settled here. So our 2 bolts are gonna sit right in there. So there's our mounting brackets, and then it has these 2 slots on the running board itself where your 2 bolts are gonna go. I don't know if it makes a ton of difference, but I did the bracket on the running board in front of the bracket for the truck and did the same all the way down there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these bolts into place here. Once you get those 2 bolts on there under each of these different mounting brackets, it goes together pretty easily. I'm just making sure that I'm fairly level with the truck now. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten everything down. With the M8 hardware, you wanna torque everything to about 15 to 18 pounds of pressure. And with the M10 hardware, we're gonna do about 35 to 38 foot per pounds. And then that's pretty much it. Not a bad install at all. This is fairly straightforward. Okay, we got it all tightened down. Honestly, I think it looks really clean. It's nice and sturdy. Nice good step there. This die cast is got a ton of grip to it. I think it's a really solid step right there. I like the extra rocker panel protection right up underneath there. That's something that my other one didn't have. And with me doing a little bit of a lift to the truck and putting some bigger tires on there, that step is a lot easier to get up there now. So, all right guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish the other side. I'm not gonna bore you because it's pretty much the exact same install that we just did right here. So I'm gonna end the video right here. Thanks guys for watching. If you wanna check out these running boards, then head over to Westin. I'll have the links down in the description. And don't forget to use my discount codes if you're gonna check out anything from Westin. Treg26 will save you 20% off of all of these things like their running boards, and then the EXP10 will save you 10% off of their truck cap. So thanks everybody. We'll see y'all next time.